Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is in chapter 4 of Gittin, the chapter famous for Tikkun Olam. We'll have more of that today. We are in Mishnah Dalet. Eved Shenishba. There was an Eved Cnani. And as we know, this was a servant purchased from a non-Jewish nation, working in a Jewish home. He went to the mikveh, had a quasi-Jewish status, can't break Shabbos, but when he's freed, he becomes fully Jewish, and that's going to become important later in today's Mishnah. He was captured, Nishba, he was captured by an invading army. They often captured people, then ransomed them back. The pirates in the Red Sea still do this to this day. Ufda'uhu. And then, after the original master, who he was working for, gave up, other Jews ransomed him back from this invading army or these bandits. Now, it depends why they redeemed him. Im lishum eved, if they knew he was an eved Cnani and they wanted him to work for them now, yishtabed, then yes, he's still an eved Cnani and he can work for them. Im lishum ben churin, if they're rescuing him because he was a Jewish guy, he was captured with the Jewish people from a Jewish town, they want him to be free. Lo yishtabed. He's no longer an eved Cnani. He is now a free Jewish man. After all, the first owner has no more financial rights to his labor, and the ransomers wanted to set him free. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, he disagrees. Says ben kach ben kach yishtabed. He says in any event, he still has to be an eved Cnani. He's not fully free and fully Jewish quite yet. And his reasoning here is if you say that he could, run off and surrender to an invading army or, go tell the bandits, hey, here I am, you can capture me and ransom me, make some money, then Avadim, Eved Cnani, who do not like their situation, they don't like working out in the field, picking strawberries, whatever it is, they might run off and do this and then get ransomed, costing people a lot of money just to change their situation. Now, we have seen there is an exception where an Eved Cnani in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, runs away to Eretz Yisrael, then that's perhaps an exception. That was lahavdil, a little like crossing the Mason-Dixon line. Anyway, the Mishnah here goes on, Eved she'asor rabu apotiki, an Eved who was made into an apotiki. Now, apotiki is a contraction, apo dehe koi. From here, you shall collect your debt. So the master of this Eved Cnani borrowed money and said this Eved is the collateral, the specific collateral, the apotiki, from which the lender can collect the debt. So really, other people have the right to, the lender, the source of the funds, has the right to use the work of this Eved to pay back the debt. But then the original owner, who owes the money, freed this Eved Cnani. So now what? The Mishnah says, Shurat Din, from the letter of the law, strictly speaking, Eina Eved Chayev Klum. This Eved Cnani doesn't have to do anything. He is now a free man. He has no financial obligation to anyone. Elbnei Tikkun Olam, but because of Tikkun Olam, and really the Tikkun Olam here is for benefits of this ex-Eved Cnani, who's now a Jewish man. We don't want the lender that he was working for to say, hey, that guy's my Eved, or hey, that guy's really an Eved Cnani, he can't marry a nice Jewish girl, and question his yichus, and question his family. It's for the benefit, for the protection of his reputation, really, for the ex-Eved Cnani. So this Tikkun Olam, Kofin et Rabo, we force the lender of the money, Oseyata ben Churin, to officially make him fully emancipated, so there's no questions about it. Kotev shtar al damav, and he should write a contract for his value, the value he was owed as an apotiki, and he'll work it back. He'll work for the lender. Or he'll work for himself and then later pay off that contract and pay the lender. Rabbi Shimon and Gamliel Mary disagrees. Eino kotev ela meshachar. No, the ex-Eved Cnani, he's now fully a free Jewish man. He doesn't owe anybody a penny, but they should write him a deed of freedom so no one's going to question the fact that he is 100% a free Jewish man. On to Mishnah Hay, a very famous Tikkun Olam case. Misha chetzio Eved uchetzio ben churin. A man who was half an Eved and half a free man. Now, originally, he was probably purchased by two partners, and then one of these two partners freed his share. So this man is half an Eved Cnani, but half a nice Jewish boy now. So what does he do? Oved et rabo yom echad. He has to work for the man who still owns him for one day, vet atzmo yom echad. Divrei Beit Hillel. Then he works for himself the next day. And of course, on Shabbos, he is off. So, 6 days of the week, the work days is 3 for himself and 3 for the one who still has financial stake in him. Now, a point we've made many months ago is that Eved Cnani was nothing like slavery in America before the Civil War. In Jewish law, you have to treat human beings in a humane fashion. There are special laws if the master actually causes damage to the Eved, they have to set them free. There are laws you have to give them, parting gifts when they're done. And there's an idea to help people become free men and become fully Jewish and cognizant of their responsibilities. Even though in that era, 2,000 years ago, it was absolutely normal and acceptable for people to basically buy the rights to the work of other human beings, which we don't really have today, thank God. Anyway, back to the Mishnah here. Amru lahem Beit Shammai. So Beit Shammai says to Beit Hillel, who says you work for yourself once and for the owner once, to kantem et rabo. That's great for the man who still has financial stake in him. Et atzmo, but for this half Eved himself, lo to kantem, you haven't solved his problem. Lisa Shifcha Efshar, he cannot marry a Shifcha Cnanit, a woman who was in the same servant status, Shekvar Chetzia ben Chorin, because he's half a free Jewish man. But Chorin Efshar, he can't marry a regular free Jewish girl, a nice Jewish girl, Shekvar Chetzia Eved, because he's still half an Eved. So he's stuck, he can't get married. Yibata, what, he should sit and do nothing and never get married and have a family? God forbid. Halo nivra ha'olam ele l'freirivia. Because the world was created for procreation. Hashem gave us a beautiful world to settle in it and build families and communities and institutions. Shnei a famous pasuk in Yeshaya the Navi, Lo tohu v'ra l'shevet yitzara. Hashem did not create a whole beautiful world just to be desolate. He formed it to be inhabited. Ela, so what do we need to do here? Mipnei Tikkun Olam, for the Tikkun Olam, and the Tikkun of this poor man who's stuck. Kofinat Rabba, we force the second partner of the original partnership, Oseh ben Chorin, he has to free him entirely. Kotev shtarel chatzei damav, and he'll make a contract to the ex-Eved, who's now fully free, will write up a contract for this second owner, really master with a financial stake in his labor, and he'll pay him off slowly, eventually. Hazur Beit Hillel lahod k'divrei Shammai, and this is one of the famous cases where Beit Hillel came around and agreed to Beit Shammai here, mipnei Tikkun ha'olam.